I don't know, guys. I just don't know. Get ready to get offended. You're going to get offended. Trigger warning. Trigger alert. Why is the top of my hair flat? All right, I'm not editing and doing all that crap. We're just going to talk about this and read this post. I'm going to start just sharing these posts, sharing my thoughts. This is something that my wife's stepbrother's wife posted. And for some reason, her Facebook posts show up on the top of my Facebook page every time I open the app. And I don't know why. For some reason, they're trying to trigger discussion. I guess they know that maybe we have different views or something. And so I'm not going to say her name, but she gets upset now, and she's probably close to blocking me because I just ask questions. She's a Democrat, radical leftist. I think Democrats are crooked as hell. So are Republicans. I mean, political parties are cults. They both are, but she can't see through that. So I'm going to start sharing my thoughts on video because this can't be deleted because it's on my channel, and I'm going to post it on a thread here. I love my stepsister-in-law to pieces. Great person, but she doesn't... I don't know. I don't think she knows how to, say, sway my thinking. What's the purpose of posting this stuff that's one-sided if it's just to an echo chamber of everyone else that agrees with you? So it's mainly white leftist women, and they all get their panties in a bunch and go bananas over all of this fear-mongering, and it's just them. But what good does it do if you're not convincing other people that have opposing views? You're not changing anything in the world. You're not doing the world any favors if you claim you're trying to save us all. So I don't know. I'll share my thoughts on video instead and just post a link and hope she doesn't delete that. But, you know, maybe it'll make her think or settle you down, calm you down a little bit, because why lose sleep over this stuff? It's just sad. All right, so let's look at the post. So it said, Trump orders the National Guard into 19 states. 19! So when you send the National Guard into 19 states for administrative support with ICE, that's not about paperwork. That's about power consolidation. Civil liberties shrink while military presence grows. That's textbook authoritarianism. Everyone who said I was overreacting needs to STFU and sit TF down. Seriously, do you not understand what this means? IFHDT! Full meltdown. Okay, so first of all, I would ask this question, and I would say, yeah, you're overreacting. You're definitely overreacting. If you are not committing crimes, what are you worried about? So if the National Guard comes to your town, what are they going to do to you? Drag you out of your house and take you to the town whipping post or something? I mean, what? Are they going to shoot through your living room window? If the National Guard rolled tanks through Jefferson City and had soldiers out on the street, I'd come outside with my coffee and wave. Why? Because I'm not breaking the law. If I'm not selling drugs or harboring illegals, or doing something nefarious, why am I concerned? If I'm not gangbanging out in the streets with AKs and everything, why is this a threat? And here's another question. I talked about it in another video. Why did we watch the mayor of D.C. begging the previous president for the National Guard to come in? Begging, saying crime is out of control. People are being unalived at an alarming rate. Please send in the military because we're outgunned, because they're running around the streets with those AKs. 2 years later, the next administration sends in the National Guard. Now, all of a sudden, it's free D.C. and crime is down. Kind of makes you wonder, doesn't it? I can show you the video. If you want to see it, post it in a link below. I'll show you the video of the mayor begging the previous president to roll in with the National Guard. Army people, army men, right? The same ones that posts like this are getting so triggered over, right? Begged them to come in to stop crime. Why? Because the police can't handle it. Because they thought it'd be a great idea to lay off, 430? They got rid of, through attrition, 430 police officers. So then there she was, begging Biden for the National Guard. Now, when they go in and actually shut the crime down, hadn't been an unaliving with an AK for 7 days or since they moved in, but somehow that's a bad thing. Another thing, let me see what this says. Authoritarian is a political system that centralizes power in the hands of a leader or a small group, limiting civil liberties, democracy, and the rule of law. They always use this rule of law, but it's only to their advantage or for things that they think is important, but they're allowed to have no rule of law. So right now, there's no rule of law in big cities. Look at Chirac, where I was born, Chicago, right? There's no rule of law there. There's kids getting unalived in the streets, children, black children, right? There are black families in duress because there's no rule of law. There's no rule of law in Washington, D.C. They don't have the police officers. They can't keep up, right? There's no rule of law in New York City. But then it's a bad thing. And here's another point. Who cares what uniform there is? If it's a police officer uniform or if it's a sheriff department or National Guard or the freaking Marines. I don't care. As long as there's somebody on my side there to stop crime. Why does everybody get so butthurt and triggered? Because, they're calling out the National Guard and the Army on our own people. What own people? The ones that have the AKs. They're not calling out the National Guard on you or me sitting here making this video because I'm not breaking the law. So yeah, call in the National Guard into all of these states. Get the crime under control since these big cities don't think it's important. Now, here's one last thing I want to ask you, and this is to the triggered white women, radical leftists, the majority of them that post in response on my stepsister-in-law's post. What about the black families that are asking for intervention? What about the black families in Chicago, in my Southside neighborhood, who are a part of Flip Chicago Red, that are disgusted with the mayor for dumping $500 million into the illegals while abandoning the needs of the black community? What about them? Why don't you stand up for them? Triggered white women, leftist white women. It seems like you guys only want to stand up for the things that align with your political narratives. You don't stick up for black people if they're not a part of your political party. So really, is it sincere? I made another post. I'm going to do another video on this on the next one. It's going to be talking about how all of the triggered white women leftists are going bananas about the facility in Florida, right, that holds the illegals. But do they ever say a word about the horrible living conditions of black people in the prisons across the United States? And have they ever said a word about the person who was most responsible for jailing all of those black people? And I'm going to share with you something Van Jones did, and you're going to be shocked. I dare any of the triggered white leftist women that are so mad about that encampment in Florida, I dare you to watch this video to see what Van Jones, who is a Democrat liberal, right? To see what he did and see what he said when he stood up for all the incarcerated black men in the prisons across the United States. And you're not going to like it. You ain't going to like it. Oh, man. I dare you to like, share, and subscribe and come back for this next video because it ain't going to make you look good. You're not going to be able to give an answer or explain this one at all. All right, that's all I got for this one. Tell me what you think. This is Carl. I'm out.